How to vanish without leaving America. Imagine escaping taxes, skipping winter and fading into a tropical paradise, without losing your US citizenship or your Costco membership. These aren't fictional islands. They fly American flags, spend US dollars, and couldn't care less about your 9-to-5 hustle. From the Caribbean to the Pacific, these are the overlooked US territories, where freedom has palm trees, Wi-Fi is optional, and every day runs on island time. Most Americans don't even realize these places exist, yet you can move there tomorrow with nothing more than a suitcase and a plane ticket. So if you've ever dreamed of vanishing without actually leaving the country, this might be your perfect loophole. You're sick of it. The American escape fantasy. You're sick of it. The traffic that turns your commute into a slow-motion nightmare. The endless taxes that nibble away at your paycheck like invisible piranhas. And that one neighbor who insists on using a leaf blower at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. You've had enough of the tipping screens that demand 25% gratitude for handing you a muffin, and the weather that punishes you 9 months a year just for existing. You dream of palm trees instead of parking tickets, sunsets instead of snow shovels, and a life where you can finally breathe without a calendar screaming back at you. But you don't want to disappear into the jungle, trade your citizenship for a coconut, or learn a new currency. You just want warmth, space, and a little less bureaucracy breathing down your neck. And that's where America hides one of its greatest secrets. Scattered across the world's oceans are dots of land that still fly the stars and stripes, but live by completely different rhythms. They are the places Washington forgets to regulate, the tropical loopholes of the Republic. These territories operate under American law, but reject the mainland's stress and spreadsheets. You can move there without a passport, pay in dollars, get your mail, and still order bulk peanut butter from Costco if the ship makes it in time. It's still the United States, just the version where life took a nap and never woke up. That's the fantasy calling so many burnt-out souls. A life where your biggest decision is rum or coconut water. Where work from home actually means from a hammock, and where the only reminder of mainland life is the occasional political debate echoing faintly from the internet you barely use. Before you sell your snow boots and cancel your HOA membership, though, you need to know what you're walking into, because each of these forgotten corners of America comes with its own rhythm, its own price tag, and its own definition of freedom. Let's not keep it a secret any longer and go to the US Virgin Islands. America on vacation. Picture a cluster of islands where your mail says US, but your mind says retired. The US Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix are technically America, yet they feel like a permanent out-of-office email. No passport, no customs, just sunshine and sea salt. You pay in dollars, you drive on the left, and you slowly forget what stress tastes like. St. Thomas is the busy one, fueled by cruise ships and frozen daiquiris. It's loud, colourful, and always awake. Locals smile politely, while tourists treat it like Disney with rum. St. John is its opposite, half national park, half meditation retreat. The Wi-Fi is weak, but the peace is strong. Then there's St. Croix, artsy, slower, and slightly eccentric. It's where drifters turn into painters and power outages become excuses for storytelling. Everything costs more because everything floats in by ship. Avocados become luxury items, and groceries make you question your life choices. But what you spend in cash, you earn in calm. There's no snow, no traffic, and no one pretending to care about office politics. You live on island time, where 5 minutes late is basically early. If you can handle humidity, the occasional blackout, and the sound of roosters at sunrise, this might be your paradise. Life here isn't about running faster. It's about finally stopping. The next one is Guam, America's hidden tomorrow. Guam is America's tropical paradox, officially US soil, spiritually another planet. It's halfway between Hawaii and the Philippines, which means it's literally tomorrow there. You text your friends good morning while they're still brushing their teeth yesterday. It's America, but in time travel mode. Here, everything familiar comes with a twist. You use US dollars, but coconut trees outnumber streetlights. You see McDonald's arches framed by volcanoes, and yes, you can move there without a passport. The military presence is huge, so jets share the sky with rainbows. Supplies come by ship, meaning the grocery aisle sometimes feels like roulette. You might find almond milk one week and tumbleweeds the next. Guam's motto could be relax eventually. Appointments happen when they happen. The Wi-Fi is brave but rarely victorious. Yet no one seems bothered. Freedom here means no one watching your every move, no HOA, no judgment. You can start a business, build a cabin, or disappear into the jungle with a dog named Captain Coconut. Taxes? Only federal. Representation? Optional. It's hot, it's weird, and it's one of the last places where you can vanish inside America and still get Amazon shipping. Eventually. Let's go to Puerto Rico with me, the rebel cousin of the United States. Puerto Rico is the loud, stylish cousin of the American family, the one who shows up late, steals the playlist, and somehow makes the party better. It's part of the US, but proudly independent in attitude. The streets of Old San Juan burst with colour, colonial charm, and people who treat mornings like opportunities to dance. You don't need a passport, and you'll pay in dollars, but the vibe is pure Caribbean. Coffee here could wake the dead, and the energy never dips. The people are warm, blunt, and gloriously alive. You can surf before work, nap after lunch, and join a street parade by dinner. Puerto Ricans are US citizens, but they can't vote for president. Still, that quirk birthed a famous loophole: no federal income tax on local earnings. Cue the arrival of tech bros and crypto dreamers, drawn by Act 60. They came for tax breaks. The island gave them humility. For everyone else, Puerto Rico's freedom is simpler. Less rush, fewer rules, and a community that refuses to break. The power may flicker, but the spirit never does. That's also the case in American Samoa. America at the edge of the map. If freedom had an address at the edge of the earth, it'd be American Samoa. It's the only US territory south of the equator. 5 volcanic islands surrounded by ocean and silence. Even Google Maps hesitates before loading it. Here people are US nationals, not citizens. They can live in the States, but can't vote for president. No one minds. They're too busy fishing, singing, or laughing with family. The culture runs on Far Samoa, the Samoan way, where elders lead, respect matters, and faith fills the air. There's one McDonald's, one main road, and a Wi-Fi signal so fragile it's basically a rumour. Life here moves in slow motion. 2-day shipping becomes 2-week guessing. But no one rushes. They measure time in coconuts, not clocks. Taxis are local, storms are frequent, and the sunsets will make you forget what day it is. If you crave simplicity, the kind that doesn't need notifications, this is your paradise. Let's continue. The Northern Mariana Islands, the quiet genius of freedom. The Northern Mariana Islands are America's quietest secret. The kind of place you'd only find if you fell asleep on a map and woke up surrounded by turquoise water. 14 islands form this chain, but only 3, Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, are home to anyone who hasn't completely merged with nature. They sit north of Guam, legally American, spiritually peaceful, and permanently allergic to stress. Saipan hums with small-town rhythm. One grocery store, a few cafes, and locals who wave even when they've never met you. Tinian feels like a time capsule, palm trees where parking meters should be, and beaches so empty they make your thoughts echo. Rota is so serene it feels fictional. The air smells like salt and slow cooking. Kids play barefoot, adults barbecue for no reason, and strangers are just family you haven't eaten with yet. History left deep footprints here. World War II bunkers, memorials, and stories of survival from 1945 still whispered at seaside bars. The culture blends Chamorro and Carolinian roots with Japanese and Filipino influence, stitched together by hospitality. Islanders live simply but laugh loudly. Internet works when it wants to. Electricity sometimes takes naps, but no one minds. Taxes? You still pay federal ones, but not to the IRS. They're collected locally, rerouted to Washington, and somehow everyone's fine with it. Maybe that's the real magic. No obsession with perfection, just gratitude that life still works. Here, the loudest sound at night is the ocean reminding you that nothing urgent exists. The Northern Marianas don't shout about freedom. They live it, quietly and completely. We'll save the last and most suitable one for last. That way we know that only truly loyal viewers will discover these places. Life without deadlines. The real cost of paradise. Every paradise charges rent, and these islands demand patience as payment. Power outages? Normal. Late shipments? Expected. Storms? Seasonal entertainment. But stress, the mainland's most common disease, can't survive here. When your fridge runs out, your neighbour shows up with fish. When the lights go out, the stars clock in. Convenience fades, but connection takes its place. Mainlanders arrive thinking they're escaping the system, only to discover they're joining a community. You learn people's names faster than Wi-Fi passwords. The grocery clerk knows your birthday before your Amazon order even ships. Privacy blurs into friendship because isolation doesn't work when you all share the same generator. Groceries cost more and bureaucracy moves slower than a coconut in the tide. Yet nobody measures life in minutes anymore. They measure it in meals shared, storms endured, and laughter during power cuts. Over time, the island rewires your brain. The need to rush dissolves. The compulsion to impress disappears. What remains is enough: sun, sea, and a slower heartbeat. This is the hidden wealth of forgotten America. Learning that freedom isn't just untaxed income or legal loopholes, it's peace, the kind that hums quietly while the rest of the world scrolls past it. Forgotten by Congress, remembered by freedom. Here's the paradox that makes these islands legendary. The less attention Congress pays them, the better they function. They're technically US soil, but they exist in legal twilight, regulated just enough to run, ignored enough to breathe. That neglect has turned into an accidental superpower. There's no endless stack of rules telling you what color to paint your fence. No zoning board arguing over where your shed ends and your dreams begin. Bureaucracy here fits on a napkin. You need a business license? Fill out one form and shake one hand. You need community? Step outside. Everyone's already on your porch. The mayors show up at neighborhood cookouts. The police know everyone by first name, and neighbors argue only about who makes the best barbecue sauce. Laws bend toward practicality because enforcement requires too much paperwork. Even without voting rights, people here live the American promise better than most. Self-reliant, cooperative, and unbothered by political noise. While the mainland drowns in meetings about freedom, these territories simply practice it. They remind us that liberty doesn't need spectacle or slogans. It just needs space, trust, and the quiet confidence that no one in Washington is paying attention today. Okay, we are at the last one. American Samoa, the edge of the map. If the US Virgin Islands are America on vacation and Guam is America in the future, then American Samoa is America at the edge of the map. This is the last whisper of the United States before the Pacific swallows the horizon. 5 volcanic islands and 2 coral atolls floating south of the equator. Even Google Maps hesitates before zooming in. It's remote, stunning, and so slow you might forget what hurry feels like. Here, people aren't full US citizens, but US nationals, a bureaucratic grey zone that means they can live and work anywhere in the States, but can't vote for president unless they naturalize. Most don't care. Politics feels distant when your daily view is a mountain dripping with rainforest and a lagoon that looks photoshopped by the gods. The culture is built on Far Samoa, the Samoan way, where respect, faith, and family come before everything. Church choirs drown out smartphones. Elders are treated like libraries. Every greeting is heartfelt, every meal shared. There's one main road, one McDonald's, and maybe one flight per day. The internet exists, technically, but patience is the true bandwidth. 2-day shipping becomes 2-week guessing, and that's if the cargo plane cooperates. But you gain peace. No one's judging your clothes, career, or car, because everyone already knows who you are. Kids still play outside, neighbors wave. Life happens without a marketing strategy. And taxes here are local, not handled by the IRS, which sounds liberating until you try to understand the paperwork. Still, no one moved here for spreadsheets. They came to measure time in coconuts and conversations. If you crave simplicity, if you want to wake up to roosters instead of notifications, this is your paradise. American Samoa reminds you that freedom isn't fast or flashy. Sometimes it's a nap after lunch with the ocean humming approval in the background. So maybe this is your sign. You've scrolled through paradise long enough. It's time to admit you're at least thinking about it. No more traffic, no more taxes, no more Karen from HR sending quick follow-up emails at 9 p.m. The United States still hides places where you can ditch winter, keep your citizenship, and legally tell your boss you're unavailable because the ferry sank and the Wi-Fi joined a witness protection program. The pros are obvious. Sunshine that feels medicinal. Neighbors who wave instead of honk. No commute, no snow shovels, no urgent memos about quarterly goals. You can own land, start a business, and technically still file your federal taxes while wearing flip-flops. On some islands, there's no state income tax at all. Just you, the ocean, and the comforting illusion that you've finally beaten the system. You'll eat fresher food, breathe cleaner air, and find out that time itself can stretch when there's no calendar yelling at you. But paradise comes with fine print. Groceries cost double, and sometimes the store runs out of groceries altogether. The power goes out just when your blender hits margarita mode. 2-day shipping becomes 2-week adventure. The government might forget your paperwork exists, and the local weather forecast is basically maybe rain, maybe hurricane. If you're allergic to heat, mosquitoes, or boredom, bring antihistamines and low expectations. Island life doesn't fix everything. It just gives your problems better scenery. And yet, those who stay never want to leave. They stop needing constant news, stop chasing promotions, and start noticing things: stars, waves, silence. These islands don't promise perfection. They promise perspective. They remind you that freedom isn't about escaping responsibility. It's about choosing the version of it that comes with sunsets instead of parking tickets. So go ahead, ditch the snow boots, sell the leaf blower, and buy a ridiculous amount of sunscreen.